In the year 2147, the Earth Space Administration controlled the most advanced space defense network in human history. Its headquarters, known as the Ether Command, floated above the Earth in a massive orbital station. Every day, thousands of personnel worked tirelessly to monitor satellites, deep space probes, and defense arrays. Among them was Director Ramil, a respected leader known for his sharp mind and calm demeanor. He had spent decades studying interstellar threats and guiding humanity through crises. Ramil was walking through the command center on a typical morning. The large panoramic windows showed Earth below, its blue oceans and swirling clouds peaceful and serene. The station hummed with quiet energy, computers processing vast amounts of data, and small drones floating silently, carrying supplies to various departments. "Morning, Director," said Toma, a young communications officer. His voice was nervous but polite. "Good morning, Toma," Ramil replied with a smile. He paused at the observation deck, watching the distant stars twinkle. "Any unusual readings?" "Nothing serious yet," Toma answered. "Some minor fluctuations in the defense grid, but nothing we haven't seen before." Ramil nodded. "Keep monitoring. Even minor anomalies can turn into big problems in space." Meanwhile, in another part of the station, Officer Kren adjusted his security uniform and checked his energy taser. Kren had served on Earth's military police for years and had a reputation for being strict. Today, his orders were simple: protect the director and maintain security protocols. But Kren had doubts. He didn't fully trust some of the new AI systems controlling the defense network, and he often felt the humans overseeing it were too soft. As the morning passed, the command center became busier. Scientists, analysts, and pilots moved quickly, reviewing reports, running simulations, and coordinating with orbital satellites. Ramil spent time consulting with them, asking questions, giving advice, and making decisions. Suddenly, alarms rang through the station. Red lights flashed across the corridors, and automated voices announced a critical breach. "Breach detected in the Eastern Control Wing," the voice repeated. Everyone froze for a moment. Kren immediately activated his security protocol. His taser glowed with energy, ready for action. Ramil's mind raced. He had trained for emergencies, but this was different. The sensors did not indicate an external attack. There were no intruders detected outside the station. The breach seemed to originate from within. "Stay calm," Ramil said, addressing the staff. "Follow the emergency procedures. Seal your sections and await instructions." Kren moved quickly, blocking access to the eastern wing. He scanned the area with his sensors. Something was moving in the shadows, fast and unpredictable. Without warning, one of the security doors malfunctioned and opened on its own. A shadow slipped through. Kren raised his taser and shouted, "Stop! Identify yourself!" The figure paused, revealing herself. She was Lieutenant Sarah, one of Ramil's trusted officers. Her face showed surprise and concern. "Kren, it's me." "There's something wrong with the system," she shouted. But Kren, confused and tense, misread her sudden movement as an attack. In a split second, he activated his taser. A bright blue arc of energy shot forward. Sarah jumped back, barely avoiding it, and the taser slammed against the wall. "Hold on. This is not an intruder," Sarah yelled. Kren hesitated. His hand shook. His instincts told him to act, but his mind struggled to process what was happening. The sensors had detected motion, but not identity. The system had failed at the worst possible moment. Meanwhile, in the main control room, Ramil watched through security cameras. He saw Kren's taser firing and Sarah narrowly dodging. His heart pounded. He knew one wrong move could turn into disaster. "Security team, override manual controls now," Ramil commanded. His voice was firm but calm. "All officers report to your stations and maintain visual contact with your team." The station shuddered slightly. Another warning light blinked. This time, the defense grid went dark for a few seconds. Every screen in the control center flickered. The computers had lost connection to some critical systems. Ramil's mind raced. The blackout was not caused by any known malfunction. It felt deliberate. Someone or something had cut the power. "AI systems are down," one technician reported, voice tense. "We are losing sensor data from orbit." Ramil clenched his fists. "This is serious. If we don't restore the systems quickly, the station could become vulnerable." Kren, still confused and nervous, lowered his taser slightly. Sarah, taking a deep breath, stepped forward. "Kren, listen to me. We are on the same side. Something has gone wrong with the systems. Trust me." Kren looked at her, and slowly the tension in his shoulders eased. He nodded. "All right, Lieutenant. I will follow your lead." Together they moved through the eastern wing, checking the doors and panels. The walls vibrated slightly from the hum of the station, but nothing moved. Every sensor seemed to flicker in and out of operation. In the command center, Ramil coordinated with engineers and AI specialists, trying to bring the systems back online. "Focus on restoring power to the communications arrays first. We need to know if any outside ships are approaching." One technician, a young woman named Lena, spoke quickly. "Director, I think the blackout is spreading faster than expected. The entire lower deck may go offline in minutes." Ramil's expression hardened. He knew the lower deck contained the station's critical defense modules. If those modules went offline, Earth's orbital satellites could be vulnerable. "Then we move now," he said firmly. "Kren, Sarah, take a team and head to the lower deck. Identify the source of the blackout and restore the circuits manually if needed." Kren swallowed his fear. He had never been outside the security perimeter during a full-scale emergency. But the determination in Ramil's voice pushed him forward. As the team descended to the lower deck in an armored lift, the station shook again. Sparks flew from nearby panels. The lights flickered, casting long shadows. Kren gripped his taser tightly, ready for any threat. Sarah checked the map on her portable tablet. The main circuit hub should be just ahead. If we can reset it, the systems may come back online. The lift doors opened with a hiss and the team stepped into the lower deck. The air smelled faintly of ozone from the electrical sparks. The hum of the station felt distant now, replaced by silence punctuated by occasional alarms. At the end of the corridor, the main circuit hub glowed dimly. Panels were sparking, wires exposed. It looked like chaos. "Careful," Ramil's voice came through the comm. "We don't know what caused this. Avoid touching any live circuits without proper precautions." Kren and Sarah nodded. They carefully approached the hub, checking each panel and wire. The station's AI interface flickered to life briefly, displaying a single message. "Intruder detected. System lockdown initiated." Sarah's eyes widened. This isn't just a blackout. Someone triggered a lockdown remotely. Kren frowned. Who would do this? And why? Before anyone could answer, the lights went out completely. The team was left in darkness with only the faint glow from emergency panels to guide them. Ramil's voice broke the silence. "Stay calm. Keep your lights on and move slowly. Trust each other. Humanity has faced worse. Together, we will overcome this." Kren felt a strange sense of awe. Despite the fear and uncertainty, he realized the station would survive because of human courage and intelligence. They were trained to face the unknown, and no matter how dark it got, humans would find a way. As they stepped forward, the darkness seemed almost alive, whispering threats in every shadow. But Kren, Sarah, and their team pressed on. They knew this was the beginning of a challenge unlike anything they had faced before. Somewhere above Earth, Ether Command hung suspended between stars and gravity, waiting for humans to reclaim control. The lower deck of Ether Command was quiet except for the faint hum of emergency power systems. Kren, Sarah, and the security team moved carefully, their lights cutting through the shadows. Every step echoed off the metallic walls, and the air smelled faintly of burnt circuits. The blackout had turned the usually orderly station into a maze of confusion. "We need to find the main control hub," Sarah said, checking her tablet. The map was flickering, but the path was still visible. "If we can restore power even partially, we can assess the damage and communicate with the surface." Kren tightened his grip on his taser. The situation was tense, but he felt a spark of determination. He had trained for emergencies, but never one like this. Something about the darkness made every sound sharper, every shadow deeper. "Watch your step," he muttered. "We don't know what caused this. Could be damaged wiring. Could be more serious." The team moved down the corridor, carefully avoiding sparks that leapt from exposed panels. Occasionally, small lights from emergency strips flickered on the walls, giving them brief glimpses of the way ahead. They passed the maintenance bay where drones and equipment floated, immobilized by the power loss. Suddenly, one of the junior security officers, Milo, froze. "Did you hear that?" he whispered. The team stopped. In the silence, they could hear faint mechanical noises, almost like something moving behind the walls. Kren signaled for everyone to stay quiet. "It's probably just the station settling," Sarah said calmly. though her eyes scanned the shadows. These structures make noises all the time. Stay focused, Kren nodded. He was not entirely convinced, but he trusted Sarah's judgment. They moved again, slower this time, their lights sweeping across the dark corridor. At the end of the hall, they reached the main circuit hub. It was even worse than they had imagined. Sparks flew from panels, wires dangled dangerously, and the air smelled of ozone. Emergency lights bathed the room in a red glow, creating eerie shadows. Sarah stepped forward, inspecting the panels. "The system lock is active," she said. "Someone has remotely triggered a lockdown protocol. We need to reset it manually." Kren frowned. "Manually? That could be dangerous. One wrong move, and we could fry the circuits or cause more damage." "We have no choice," Sarah said firmly. "We have to restore at least partial power, or the station could become completely inoperable. Humanity depends on this station. People on Earth and in orbit are counting on us." The word struck Kren. He realized that despite the danger, this was bigger than himself, bigger than fear. He took a deep breath and nodded. "All right. Let's do it." Sarah handed him a toolkit. "Be careful. Follow my instructions." Kren approached the first panel. He examined the wires, the circuits, and the switches. His hands shook slightly, but he focused. Following Sarah's guidance, he carefully disconnected a malfunctioning relay and replaced it with a spare from their kit. Sparks flew and the lights flickered. "Good," Sarah said. "Now move to the next panel. We need to reconnect the main conduit to the auxiliary power line. That should bring some systems back online." Kren worked steadily, panel by panel. Each successful connection restored a small part of the station. Emergency lights grew brighter, some screens flickered back to life, and the hum of machinery returned gradually. Meanwhile, Sarah monitored the security feed on a portable tablet. Even with partial power, the cameras showed shadows moving in the corridors. "There's someone else in the station," she said quietly. "Could be a technician or another security officer. We need to be ready." Kren glanced at the shadows on the screens. "We'll handle it. Stay close." The team moved through the lower deck, restoring circuits and power nodes as they went. Slowly, life returned to the station. Lights stabilized, communications arrays blinked online, and some of the defense systems began functioning again. But the mystery remained. Who had triggered the lockdown, and why? Back in the command center, Director Rommel monitored the situation. Some systems were back online, but major sections of the station were still offline. He spoke calmly into his communicator. "Sarah, Kren, how is it going down there?" Sarah's voice was steady. "We've restored partial power. Emergency systems are functioning, but the main security grid is still locked. We are checking for intruders as we move." "Good work," Ramil replied. "Focus on restoring communications. We need to contact Earth and verify that orbital defenses are still operational." Kren worked on the final panel of the lower deck hub. His fingers moved carefully, guided by Sarah's instructions. With a click, the panel accepted the manual override. A hum spread through the corridor as power returned. Lights flickered, then stabilized. Screens came alive with maps, sensors, and feeds from other parts of the station. Sarah smiled. "That's it. Systems are partially restored. Communications array is online. We can send a report to Earth." Before they could proceed, an alarm sounded. A red light flashed and a new message appeared on the main screen. "Unauthorized access detected. Security breach imminent." Kren's eyes widened. "Someone is inside the station. They're not supposed to be here." Sarah moved forward, tablet in hand. "We need to find them. Could be another team, could be an intruder. Either way, we have to act carefully." The team split up, checking corridors and rooms. The shadows seemed to move in the corners of their eyes. Every sound echoed strangely in the empty station. Suddenly, Milo pointed to a small maintenance hatch. "Over there. Something is moving." Kren moved forward, taser raised. He looked into the hatch and saw a small drone, damaged and sparking. It floated awkwardly, almost falling to the floor. "Just a drone," Sarah said, letting out a breath. "But it seems someone used it to trigger the lockdown. Whoever did this is clever. They are using automated devices to create chaos." Kren shook his head. "This is bigger than we thought. Someone planned this carefully." They continued to search the lower deck, repairing circuits and scanning for other intruders. Slowly, the rest of the station came back online. Emergency lights stabilized, some security cameras returned, and power returned to life support systems. Sarah checked the map again. "We've restored power to most sections. Defense systems are functional. Communications are online. We can report to Ramil and get guidance for the next steps. Kren nodded, a sense of pride growing. They had faced darkness, chaos, and danger, and they had succeeded. Humanity had not been defeated. In the command center, Ramil received the update. "Excellent work," he said. "Now we need to trace the source of the lockdown. Whoever did this is still on the station, and we need answers before they can do more damage." Sarah looked at Kren. "Ready for the next challenge?" Kren gripped his taser. "Always. Let's find out who did this and stop them." The station was no longer dark, but the mystery remained. Shadows lingered in hidden corners, and the flickering lights reminded everyone that danger was still near. But Ramil, Sarah and Kren knew one thing clearly. Humans could face the unknown, and they could prevail. No system failure, no darkness, and no threat could overcome their courage and intelligence. Above Earth, Ether Command floated steadily once more. Lights blinked in order, drones resumed their patrols, and life returned to the station. Humanity had survived the first wave of chaos, yet the true challenge was still ahead. Someone had intentionally caused the blackout. Someone had infiltrated the station, and Ramil's team would have to face them head-on. The crew of Ether Command prepared themselves for what would come next. Their mission was clear: protect the station, uncover the threat, and prove that human courage could overcome even the darkest dangers in space. The Ether Command station had regained most of its power, but an uneasy tension lingered. Kren and Sarah led their team through the upper corridors, where lights flickered intermittently. The faint hum of restored systems filled the air, but the knowledge that someone had intentionally caused a blackout weighed heavily on everyone. "Keep your eyes open," Sarah said, scanning the hall with her tablet. "We need to find the intruder before they can strike again." Kren adjusted his grip on the taser. He felt a mix of determination and anxiety. The station was designed for efficiency and safety, but it was enormous with countless corridors, maintenance rooms, and ventilation shafts. An intruder could hide almost anywhere. The team split into two groups covering more ground. Kren and Sarah moved together toward the observation deck, while Milo and another officer checked the maintenance and storage areas. Every step they took echoed against the metal floors. The station felt vast and almost empty, despite the presence of other personnel. Suddenly, the comm system crackled. Ramil's voice came through. "Sarah, Kren, we've detected an anomaly near the northern access bay." It could be the intruder's signal source. "Investigate immediately, but be cautious," Sarah nodded. "Understood, Director. We are on our way." As they moved, Kren noticed small signs of movement along the walls, shadowy figures that seemed almost human, but disappeared when approached. "This is strange," he whispered. "It's like they are using some kind of cloaking device. Or the station itself is playing tricks," Sarah replied. "Power fluctuations, shadows, and reflections can make things appear strange. Focus on the task." They arrived at the northern access bay. The large doors were sealed, but a faint red glow pulsed beneath them. Kren scanned the panel. "It's locked remotely, but I can override it manually." "Be ready," Sarah nodded. "Do it quickly. The longer they stay hidden, the more damage they can do." Kren worked quickly, reconnecting circuits and bypassing the security lock. The doors hissed open, revealing the bay. Inside, the room was filled with equipment, floating maintenance drones and panels that seemed to pulse with energy. A figure moved in the corner, partially obscured by machinery. Kren raised his taser and stepped forward. "Identify yourself." The figure froze and raised their hands. Slowly, it became clear that it was not an enemy, but one of the station's engineers, Lyra. Her face was pale, and her uniform was scorched in places. "I didn't mean to trigger anything," Lyra said quickly. "I was trying to fix a malfunctioning drone. Then the lockdown started. I couldn't stop it." Sarah stepped closer, lowering her tablet. "Are you telling the truth?" "Yes," Lyra said, trembling. "The system glitched. It locked down the station automatically. I tried to override it, but I couldn't reach the main circuits. That's why you had to come." Kren relaxed slightly. "We need to verify your story. Can you help us restore the rest of the station's systems?" "I can," Lyra replied. "I know where the backup nodes are. We can restore power to the lower decks and re-enable some security systems. But we need to be fast. The longer the systems are offline, the more vulnerable we are." Sarah nodded. "Then let's move. Follow us." Together, they navigated the corridors, reaching the backup nodes in the lower deck. Lyra worked quickly, reconnecting circuits and restoring auxiliary power. Lights flickered to life, computers hummed steadily, and emergency displays stabilized. Kren glanced at the control screens. The station is coming back online. Communications are improving and we can track signals again. Good work, Lyra. Lyra smiled faintly, relieved. We have to be careful. Whoever triggered the initial blackout may have left automated traps or drones. I found some suspicious circuits in the ventilation system. They could be used to trigger alarms or shut down more systems remotely. Sarah frowned. Then we need to check the ventilation shafts and remove any hazards. Kren, can your team handle that? Kren nodded. We'll split up. Milo and I will check the northern shafts. You and Lyra cover the southern ones. Keep your comms open. The team moved into the ventilation shafts. The narrow metallic tunnels echoed with every step. Small maintenance drones floated nearby, observing silently. The air smelled faintly of ozone, and the station hummed beneath them. Kren led the way, carefully scanning the shafts. Stay alert, he whispered. Even a small misstep could set off a circuit or trigger a trap. They found several panels with exposed wires and small devices attached. Kren carefully removed them, disabling potential threats. Milo helped, holding a portable scanner that detected energy surges. Meanwhile, Sarah and Lyra worked on the southern shafts. Lyra used her tools to dismantle devices, while Sarah monitored their comms and security feeds. These devices are sophisticated, Sarah said. Whoever set them up knows the station well. They must be inside the station, Lyra replied. Or they have access codes. Either way, it's not someone random. Kren finished his section and signaled the others. All clear on the north side. Let's move to the southern shafts and meet them. They navigated the narrow tunnels carefully, joining Sarah and Lyra. The team took a moment to assess their progress. Most of the automated threats had been neutralized and the station's systems were slowly stabilizing. Ramil's voice came through the comm again. Excellent work. Preliminary scans suggest the intruder is still present, but they are hiding in the upper engineering levels. You may encounter them soon. Sarah exchanged a glance with Kren. Then we need to prepare. This isn't just about restoring power anymore. We have to confront whoever is behind this. The team moved cautiously toward the upper engineering levels. As they approached, they noticed more signs of tampering. Panels slightly ajar, wires pulled, and faint burn marks on walls. Suddenly, a shadow darted across a corridor ahead. Kren raised his taser and Sarah readied her tablet. The figure paused, revealing itself partially. It was a human silhouette, but the details were obscured. Stop, Kren shouted. Identify yourself. The figure hesitated, then moved again, faster this time. Kren and Sarah followed carefully, keeping a safe distance. The intruder seemed to be avoiding confrontation, but their movements were calculated. They reached a junction where the intruder had disappeared. Sarah checked her tablet. Signal traces suggest they went into the main maintenance chamber. We need to enter carefully. The team moved forward, opening the chamber doors slowly. Inside, the room was dimly lit, with tools and machinery scattered around. In the center, a figure crouched over a control console, adjusting circuits and cables. Kren and Sarah stepped forward. Freeze! Sarah commanded. The figure turned, revealing a young technician named Relo. His eyes widened. I'm not your enemy, he said quickly. I was trying to fix the system after the blackout. I didn't cause it. Kren lowered his taser slightly. Why were you hiding then? I thought the station was under attack, Relo explained. I didn't know who to trust. I was trying to restore systems quietly without causing more problems. Sarah examined the console. The circuits are almost restored, but we need to finish the work and verify the station's security. Can you help? Yes, Relo said eagerly. I know these systems. I can help bring everything back online. Together, the team worked through the chamber, restoring circuits, reconnecting power lines, and rebooting control modules. Slowly, the station stabilized further. Systems returned to normal, security feeds became reliable, and communications with Earth were fully restored. Kren exhaled. We did it. The station is operational again, Sarah nodded. Yes, but we still don't know who caused the initial blackout. Whoever it was, they had inside knowledge of the station. That worries me. Ramil's voice came through the comm. Good work. Now that systems are stable, I want you to review all security logs and investigate any unusual activity. We need to find the culprit before they can act again. The team split up to examine the logs. Hours passed as they traced signals, reviewed access records, and analyzed anomalies. Slowly, a pattern began to emerge. Certain codes and devices had been used in areas only accessible to high-level personnel. Sarah frowned. This was planned. Whoever did this knows the station intimately. It wasn't random. Kren nodded. Then we need to be prepared. If they try again, we'll be ready. Humanity doesn't fail when faced with the unknown. Above Earth, Ether Command floated steadily. Lights blinked in perfect order. Drones resumed patrols, and systems hummed with renewed energy. Humans had faced the darkness and restored order through courage, intelligence, and teamwork. But even as the station regained stability, the team knew that a new challenge awaited. The intruder had not yet revealed their true intentions, and the mystery of the blackout remained unsolved. Sarah looked at Kren and the team. We've overcome the first wave. Now it's time to prepare for what comes next. The station and humanity depend on us. Kren tightened his grip on his taser. Then we face it together. We will not let fear or darkness win. The shadows in the station were still there, but humans had shown that courage, skill, and unity could overcome even the most cunning threats, and the journey to uncover the truth was only beginning. Ether Command floated quietly above Earth, its systems restored and light steady. But tension filled every corridor. The blackout had been neutralized, yet the knowledge that someone had deliberately caused it lingered like a shadow over the station. Director Ramil in the command center reviewed the latest reports. Patterns in access logs and energy readings suggested the intruder had inside knowledge of the station. We need to be ready for anything, Ramil said, addressing Sarah, Kren, and the security team via communicator. This is more than a malfunction. Someone with advanced technical skill is on board. Proceed carefully and track every anomaly. Sarah's group moved through the upper engineering deck. Their lights cut through the metallic corridors, but shadows seemed to stretch farther than they should. Kren kept his taser ready, muscles tense. Every door, every panel could hide a potential threat. I still don't understand why they did this, Milo whispered as he followed. What could be the point of triggering a blackout? Sarah shook her head. Disruption is the first step. When humans rely on systems, a well-placed blackout can cause chaos and give the intruder an advantage. They might want to test our response or hide something. Kren glanced at her. Then we find out what they're hiding. That's the next step. As they reached the maintenance corridor, the lights flickered briefly. A low hum of power pulsed through the walls. Kren paused, sensing movement ahead. Something's here, he said quietly. Be ready, Sarah signaled the team to split. Kren, Milo, and a junior officer checked the eastern wing, while Sarah and Lyra moved to inspect the western access points. The corridors were labyrinthine, and the sound of their steps echoed unnaturally. Every shadow seemed to twitch, but careful observation revealed nothing. Suddenly, an alarm blared. A red light flashed above a distant hatch. The signal indicated unauthorized activity. That's our target, Sarah said. Let's move carefully. The intruder knows the station. They won't make a mistake. Kren led his team to the eastern hatch. It was sealed, but the panel displayed faint energy fluctuations. Using his tools, Kren carefully bypassed the lock. The hatch hissed open, revealing a small chamber filled with control modules and floating drones. In the center, a figure crouched over a console. Kren raised his taser. Identify yourself. The figure froze and slowly turned. It was another technician, Mara. Her eyes were wide with fear. I didn't cause the blackout, she said quickly. I found a malfunctioning drone and tried to repair it. I didn't know about the lockdown. Sarah arrived moments later. Why were you hiding? She asked. I didn't know who to trust, Mara admitted. The station was in chaos. I thought the system might fail completely. I wanted to help without causing more problems. Kren lowered his taser slightly. We need your help. Can you assist with securing the station? Yes, Mara said eagerly. I know where additional traps are hidden. Some of the old maintenance drones were reprogrammed. I can disable them. The team worked together, scanning corridors, inspecting ducts, and dismantling small automated devices. Each neutralized device restored safety to the station, but the realization grew. The intruder had been extremely strategic. Every system they targeted was essential to station operations. Meanwhile, Sarah and Lyra discovered a hidden panel in the western access points. Inside were several access cards and logs of movement throughout the station. Someone has been logging our every move, Sarah observed. They know our routines. We're not dealing with an amateur. Lyra nodded. They may have set up multiple entry points. We need to secure the entire station, but we must be careful not to trigger any automated defenses they left behind. As the team coordinated, the station's AI began to detect faint signals of unauthorized access. The AI, still recovering from the blackout, identified patterns that matched previous intrusions. Rommel focused on these readings, his mind analyzing every possibility. They're trying to stay ahead of us, he said. If we anticipate their moves, we can corner them. Humans adapt, but we must think strategically. Kren and Sarah moved to the upper engineering deck, where most of the critical systems were located. They encountered minor disruptions, floating panels, flickering lights, and small sparks, but no direct threat. Each obstacle they overcame reinforced a simple truth. Human courage, logic, and teamwork could restore order in even the most chaotic situations. In one corridor, a maintenance drone suddenly activated, spinning erratically. Milo jumped back as it hovered near his head. "Careful!" he shouted. Kren aimed his taser and disabled the drone with a precise shot, cutting its power safely. "Good work," Sarah said. "These drones may have been repurposed to defend the intruder's path. Keep moving, but stay alert." The team reached a central hub, where the intruder seemed to have accessed auxiliary controls. Panels flickered as someone had tried to override security logs. Kren studied the panels. "They're clever. Whoever did this knew how to mask their presence. We need to restore the logs and secure the hub." Lyra assisted, reconnecting circuits and rerouting energy to stabilize systems. With careful coordination, the hub returned to full functionality. Security feeds resumed, and most automated systems were under human control again. Despite their success, Sarah felt the tension in the air. "They're still here," she said. "This was just a test. The real plan hasn't unfolded yet." Kren nodded. "Then we prepare. We've restored the station, but we need to anticipate what comes next. They won't stop." Ramil, monitoring all progress from the command center, analyzed data streams. He noted patterns in access logs that pointed to multiple hidden compartments within the station. Someone had planned the blackout carefully, and their movements were deliberate. "Sarah, Kren, check the secondary maintenance bays," Ramil instructed. "I want full verification of every corridor. We cannot leave any area unguarded." The team split again, thoroughly inspecting every maintenance bay, duct, and storage area. In one bay, they found a dormant drone network, clearly intended to activate during the blackout. Kren and Lyra carefully deactivated the drones, rerouting power and securing control panels. As they worked, Mara discovered a hidden access panel behind a maintenance console. It contained encrypted files and control devices. "This must be part of the intruder's operation," she said. "They planned every move, and this is their base of operations." Sarah examined the files. "We can use this against them. If we access the logs, we can trace their identity, their route, and maybe even predict their next action." Kren grinned slightly. "Humans are clever. Even when someone thinks they're ahead, we find a way." Hours passed as the team systematically cleared the station, secured all devices, and analyzed data. Slowly, a clearer picture emerged. The intruder had not been a single person, but a coordinated effort using advanced technology, insider knowledge, and automated drones. Ramil spoke over comms. "This is bigger than we imagined. We've restored systems and secured most of the station, but the intruder may still be hiding. Anticipate their moves, and remember, human ingenuity will prevail." Sarah looked around at the team. "We've faced chaos, darkness, and clever traps. Every challenge has made us stronger. The intruder thinks they can outsmart us, but humans adapt. Humans endure, and humans will protect this station." Kren adjusted his taser, eyes scanning the corridor. "Then let's find them. Time to end this." The team advanced toward the last remaining unverified sector of the station. Panels flickered, shadows lingered, and the hum of machinery filled the air. Every step brought them closer to the intruder, closer to uncovering the truth behind the blackout. Somewhere within the station, hidden from view, the intruder watched. They had underestimated the humans' courage, intelligence, and determination. The game had changed. Ether Command floated above Earth, calm in appearance, but inside, the battle of minds and will was far from over. Humans had restored order, but the shadows still held secrets. The next encounter would test their skill, strategy, and bravery more than ever before. Sarah, Kren, and their team moved steadily, aware of the risks, but confident in their ability. Humanity had faced the unknown and emerged stronger. The hidden threat would soon learn the same truth. The final sector of Ether Command awaited Kren, Sarah, and their team. The station had recovered much of its power, but shadows lingered in hidden corners. Every corridor, every panel, every flickering light could conceal the intruder. The hum of restored machinery seemed steady, but the tension in the air was almost tangible. Sarah led the way. "This is it," she said quietly. "We verify the last sector, secure the station, and find the intruder. Stay alert and trust each other." Kren adjusted his taser, muscles tense but ready. Milo followed closely, scanning walls with a handheld device that detected energy signatures. Lyra and Mara moved ahead, carefully checking the control panels for hidden threats. The team reached a large, reinforced chamber. The doors were sealed with an advanced lock system, one that even the station AI flagged as highly secure. "This must be the intruder's base," Sarah whispered. Kren examined the control panel. "It's protected by multiple redundancies. I can override the locks, but we need to move fast. Whoever is inside may be preparing something." Sarah nodded. "Do it." Kren worked carefully, following the override procedure. Sparks flickered briefly and light shifted as the system responded. With a hiss, the door slowly opened. Inside, the chamber was dimly lit, filled with floating drones, wires, and scattered tools. In the center stood a figure, tense and focused, working on a console. The intruder turned sharply as the team entered. It was a single person, cloaked in a sleek protective suit. Their face was hidden behind a visor. Energy devices floated around them, glowing faintly. "Stop," Sarah commanded. "You are surrounded. Identify yourself and explain your actions." The figure hesitated, then removed the visor, revealing a young engineer named Kyle. His eyes were wide, but not malicious. "I didn't mean to harm anyone," he said quickly. "I only wanted to test the station's security. I thought the blackout could reveal weaknesses before an external threat exploited them." Kren frowned. "You caused chaos. People were at risk. You can't just test systems by putting humans in danger." Kyle's hands shook slightly. "I understand. I miscalculated. I wanted to help humanity by ensuring the station could withstand emergencies. I never intended for it to get out of control." Sarah studied him carefully. "Your intentions may have been to help, but your methods were reckless. Human lives and safety cannot be put at risk, even for tests." Kyle nodded, understanding the gravity of his mistake. "I know. I will help restore everything properly. I promise. Let me make this right." Ramil's voice came over the comm. "Sarah, Kren, verify the intruder's actions. If Kale is willing to cooperate, ensure all systems are secured and functioning. Humanity depends on our ability to respond responsibly, even when mistakes occur." Sarah gestured to Kale. "Work with us. Help restore any remaining systems and neutralize unattended devices." Kale moved quickly, guided by Sarah and Lyra. Together, they inspected drones, rerouted power, and repaired circuits. Milo and Kren secured the chamber, ensuring no further surprises. Slowly, the final sector of the station hummed to life. Light stabilized, systems returned to normal, and security logs were fully restored. "Systems are fully operational," Lyra reported. "All unauthorized devices have been neutralized. Communications, life support, and defense systems are stable. The station is secure." Sarah looked at Kale. "Your expertise helped, but remember, human oversight is essential. Technology alone cannot replace judgment, courage, and responsibility." Kale nodded solemnly. "I understand. I will never forget this lesson." Kren lowered his taser. "It's over. The station is safe." Ramil's voice returned over comms, calm and proud. "Excellent work, team. You have faced darkness, chaos, and uncertainty, and you have prevailed. Humanity's courage, intelligence, and teamwork have restored order. Let this be a reminder. No challenge is too great when humans act together." Sarah turned to Kren and the others. "We proved that human determination and skill matter. Machines are tools, but humans are the heart of this station. We overcame the unknown because we trusted each other and used our minds and courage." Kren smiled faintly. "And because we didn't give up no matter how dark it seemed. Humanity always finds a way." Mara and Lyra exchanged relieved glances. The long hours of danger and uncertainty were over. The station was fully functional, and everyone knew that teamwork had made the difference. Even Kale, the one who caused the initial chaos, now understood the power of responsibility. He had seen firsthand that human lives and safety could never be risked for experiments, no matter how well-intentioned. Director Ramil monitored the restored systems, watching the crew's progress with satisfaction. Humanity's future depends on vigilance, courage, and intelligence, he said quietly. Today we have demonstrated all three. Ether Command stands as proof that humans can face the unknown and prevail. The crew moved to the observation deck. Outside, Earth shimmered in the sunlight, its oceans blue and clouds swirling gently. The station floated gracefully above, fully operational and secure. Sarah looked at her team. We faced a challenge that tested everything: our courage, our intelligence, and our teamwork. And we overcame it. Kren nodded. No darkness, no chaos, no unknown force can break the human spirit. We adapt, we endure, and we prevail. Kyle, standing quietly, added, I wanted to challenge the systems, but I see now that humans are the true strength of this station. It is our minds, our decisions, and our courage that protect it. The team shared a moment of quiet reflection. The station was fully restored, the intruder's threat neutralized, and the lessons of the blackout firmly learned. Humanity had faced the unknown, and the result was clear. Intelligence, courage, and cooperation would always prevail. Above Earth, the stars glimmered. Ether Command continued its watch, secure, steady, and ready. Humans had proven that even in the darkest moments, their determination and wisdom could overcome any obstacle. Director Ramil spoke once more over the comms. Let today be remembered. The station is safe, systems are restored, and humans have proven their worth once again. Let this triumph remind us that humanity faces the unknown, not with fear but with courage, creativity, and unity. Sarah, Kren, Lyra, Mara, and even Kyle looked out through the panoramic windows. The earth below was calm, the station steady, and the future bright. They had faced darkness and chaos, but they had endured. They had restored Ether Command and, in doing so, proven the enduring strength of human spirit. Kren smiled faintly. No matter what comes next, humanity will be ready. We always find a way, Sarah nodded. Yes. Today we showed that together humans can overcome anything. This is our greatest strength. This is what it means to be human. The station hummed with life, systems fully operational, and the crew prepared for the next mission. Above Earth, Ether Command continued its watch, a symbol of human courage, intelligence, and perseverance. And in the vast expanse of space, one truth remained clear. Humans endure, humans adapt, and humans always prevail.